Hello students, teachers, and faculty. My name is Detective Russell, and like you, I spend my days at school as a resource officer. Where I work, the local school district, police department, and fire department teamed up to prepare you to answer the question that's being asked across our country. What do I do if violence happens at my school?
Across America, the actions of a few have changed how we think about safety in our schools. We made this film to prepare you if you are ever confronted with violence at your school.
SAIDD was developed to help you remember the things we will show you today. Often, students do not know what to expect or what to do when violence happens at their school.
Say something. Avoid the threat. Injuries you may have. Deny entry. Defend yourself.
We all share in the responsibility to help keep each other safe. If you see or hear someone talking about committing violence at school, tell an adult you trust. As teenagers, we are used to sharing things we see and hear with our friends and classmates. When it comes to violence at school, we need to share what we see with trusted adults who can help us stop the violence before it ever starts.
Sometimes people say things they don't mean when they're upset or when they're joking. Talking about, planning to, or wanting to commit violence at school is never funny or appropriate. If you see or hear someone talking about committing violence at school, say something. That one decision can save your life and the lives of others. Make the decision now. When you see or hear something about school violence, say something.
If violence is happening at your school and you find yourself in an open area like the lunchroom or the library, avoid the threat by running away from the violence. Do not stop until you are a safe distance away. If you are out in a hallway close to an exit, use the exit to avoid the violence. Once you are at a safe distance, call 911 and report what has happened.
Someone please. There's been an attack at my school.
If you encounter first responders, such as police or paramedics outside the school, follow their directions. Remember, when police arrive, they will not know if you are there to help or to hurt them. Keep your hands empty when approaching police and hold them where they can see that they are empty. Police can then direct you to a safe zone or where to get first aid if you need it.
If you are injured while avoiding the violence, there are basic techniques that can be used to help you or another person.
I'm Captain Kluger. Today I'm going to show you some basic first aid that may assist you if you're ever injured. We're going to use special effects to simulate the injuries. The students you're about to see have not been injured. For a bleeding wound on an arm or leg, help the patient safely to the ground. Quickly apply direct pressure with a clean cloth, towel, or bandage. Apply pressure until the bleeding stops. If the bleeding does not stop, you should apply a tourniquet. A belt can make a good tourniquet. Wrap the belt above the wound and tighten the belt until you see the bleeding is stopped. You can then wrap the excess belt around the arm and cover the wound with a clean bandage. For a wound to the torso, help the patient safely to the ground. Quickly apply direct pressure to the wound until the bleeding is stopped. If the blood comes through the original bandage, you may need to apply a second bandage and keep direct pressure going. For a wound on the spine, do not move the patient. Keep the spine immobilized until paramedics can stabilize them with the proper equipment.
As police arrive at your school, they will be focused on stopping the attacker first.
Thank goodness you guys are here. He's hurt. He's bleeding. You guys need a shot. No, you guys are supposed to help him. Stop!
If you are injured, stay calm and stay still until police have stopped the violence.
This is a representation of how much blood is in the adult body. You can lose up to 40% and still have an excellent chance of recovery with good first aid.
If you are injured and are able to evacuate to outside of the school, you will be directed to a safe area where emergency responders will be able to give you immediate first aid. In our school district, we use the terms lock down and lock out to describe procedures we use to protect ourselves during school emergencies. First, we will discuss lock down. Before our school goes into lockdown, it has been determined that there is a threat of immediate violence inside the school with us. If possible, an announcement will be made over the intercom to go into lockdown. If no announcement has been made, but you have seen or heard an attacker at your school, tell a teacher or staff member and then quickly decide if you will avoid the threat by exiting the school or will deny the threat entry into your classroom.
In our school, we have dedicated areas in our classrooms that are the safest available places to shelter and deny entry into your classroom. Those areas will be where you cannot be seen from outside of your door. In the classrooms of our school, we have attached magnets that act as doorstops inside the door jambs to keep the doors from shutting completely during class. This is so your teacher can keep the door handle locked at all times. By moving the magnet away from the door jamb, the door can be quickly shut and locked by anyone inside the room during a lockdown. For the classrooms that have windows on the doors, we have also created window coverings with reminders of what to do written on the inside to prevent those outside the room from seeing inside during a lockdown.
When a lockdown begins, close the locked door and cover the window, if your classroom has one. Move to the lockdown area in your room. Those students who are physically able should quietly place large or heavy objects such as desks or other classroom furniture in front of the door for an extra barrier. Once the door has been shut, locked, and covered, do not open or go near the door again until it is time to evacuate.
If the attacker attempts to open the door, do not listen to them and do not open the door. Opening the door will put you and everyone around you in danger. Those students outside your room will find safety elsewhere. Once the attacker has been stopped, police will be able to open the door on their own when the time comes to evacuate. Everyone in the room should remain completely quiet, so the room will sound as if it is empty to anyone on the outside. Remaining quiet includes using your cell phones. Put your phone on silent to prevent it from making noise.
During a lockdown, the use of your cell phone should be limited to texting your family to let them know you are safe. Live streaming what is happening is not helpful or safe and will draw unwanted attention to where you have denied entry and who you are with. A lockdown will not be canceled over the intercom due to safety reasons. The lockdown will be over once you have been contacted in person by police or school administrators. When police arrive at your door, they will enter and give you instructions that will keep you safe. Do exactly as instructed, such as leaving items like backpacks behind. Do not have anything in your hands when police make contact. Police will instruct you to exit the safest way possible and direct you to a place where you will meet your parents or guardians.
We have also created emergency supply kits for every classroom in case the school goes into lockdown. Inside the kits, we have put emergency food, water, and a place to use the bathroom with privacy with some help from your classmates. Safely evacuating an entire school after an emergency could take several hours. We have placed supplies in the kit for emergencies during those hours.
Now we will discuss a school lockout. During a school lockout, the school has determined that there is a threat of violence outside of the school, and that we need to keep the threat from entering the school. During a lockout, an announcement will be made over the intercom that the school is going into lockout. Classes inside the school will continue as normal.
All entries and exits will be locked and secured by school staff. Entering and exiting the school will not be possible once a lockout has begun. Once the threat outside is gone, the lockout will be canceled. It will be announced over the intercom, and you may return to entering and exiting the school as you normally would.
When the school goes into lockout, locking the exterior doors will need to be done quickly to keep the threat outside of the school. Please do not prop open unattended outer doors. If you do, you will be giving the threat a quick and easy way inside the school with you. Throughout the country, we have learned that an attack at school may happen without warning. Avoiding an attacker or denying them entry should always be your first two choices.
However, if an attack happens at your school and you find yourself in the same room with the attacker, you must defend yourself. If you find yourself under attack, controlling the weapon of the attacker is your best option.
If it is not possible to control the weapon, you should try to control their hands. Without the use of their hands, they cannot use their weapons. With the help of your teacher and other classmates, you will have an advantage. You will have each other.
Acting quickly together with those around you will put the odds in your favor. Remember, act quickly, act together, and defend yourself. Once you have control of the weapon, keep it pointed away from anyone at all times. If it is a firearm, keep your finger off the trigger and keep it as far away from the attacker as possible.
Help each other get control of the attacker's hands. Once you have control of their hands, hold the attacker down. Next, have someone call 911 and tell the police where you are so they can come directly to you. If any of you get hurt defending yourself, use the basic first aid methods we have shown you.
Taking a weapon away from an attacker can be intimidating. Practicing twisting it away in a safe direction will allow you and your classmates to stay safe. With a larger weapon like this rifle, you'll have a larger area to grab and more easily keep it pointed in a safe direction.
Remember, do not go looking for the attacker and put yourself in danger. Avoiding the attacker or denying them entry are your first options. Only physically defend yourself when it is your only choice, but when it is your only choice, defend yourself quickly.
Parents, we know your first instinct will be to try and enter the school to get your child. Please do not attempt to enter the school once it has gone into lockdown. It will put you and your student in further danger. Once your student has seen this presentation, they will know what to do if an attack happens at their school. Instead, respond to the area dedicated by first responders to reunite you with your student as quickly as possible.
Now, let's go over what we have learned. Say something. Tell a responsible adult if you see or hear someone talking about committing violence at school.
Avoid the threat. Run away from the violence until you are at a safe distance.
Injuries you may get. Simple life-saving techniques can be used by anyone.
Deny access. Deny the attacker entry into your classroom.
Defend. Defend yourself by attacking the attacker.
For students in Utah, when you see or hear something, call 911 and report what you know. If you are unable or uncomfortable calling 911, consider using Safe Utah. Safe Utah was designed to allow for anonymous reporting of school safety issues. If you know of a safety concern but need to keep your identity protected, Safe Utah has created 3 methods of reporting available to you. First, call the telephone crisis line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to talk to a licensed clinician who will help you work through the problem. Second, text in your concern by downloading the free Safe Utah app to your Android or Apple smartphone. Third, using the Safe Utah app, you can also create a detailed message that Safe Utah will email to the appropriate administrators at your school.
Remember the things we have said if violence ever happens at your school, and together we can save lives.